I've got a stack actually, residents who live here who have never actually had the opportunity to see our rehab with no pressure, no anything. Mm-hmm. Yep, the only thing I need them to do is to RSVP. Mm-hmm. You can have those, you can leave them wherever you want. There will be. I have my. There will be. Just. Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Residents' Council meeting of Westminster Lakeland. Thank you for the big turnout. It is a little warm. The temperature has been adjusted, so by the time we end our meeting today, we should all be chill. So that becomes the goal. So anyway, we welcome you today, and we're going to begin with our invocation provided by Chaplain Ed Owens.
Let's pause for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day that you provided for us. We often pause throughout the day to give you thanks, but we especially take this moment to remind ourselves of the gratitude that we want to offer you, the gratitude for the ability to live in such a community as this community that you provided, better known as Westminster Lakeland. We thank you for the residents that comprise our community. We thank you for those who lovingly give of their time, their talent, their treasure to ensure that this is truly a neighborhood and not just a house in which they live. We thank you for their generosity. We thank you for their kind spirits. We thank you for their camaraderie. We just thank you because we know that you are the foundation of everything that we do here. Help us to go forth this day and shine forth your glory. Empower us that we might share the love of Christ with all that we meet. And God, be with our meeting today, those who serve as leaders in this organization, who have given of their time as well to ensure that this community is in safe hands. And so we bless the business session today. We ask that all conversations and all deliberations be done in your name. And we'll continue to give you the glory. We continue to give you the honor. Most of all, we lift our hands and give you the praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Most of you, I think, know me, but my name is Pat Steed. I currently have the honor of serving as your president of the Residence Council. And we are frequently asked, who are those people sitting up front at every meeting? So we're going to take this opportunity to introduce our officers and committee chairs to you. These are the people that make up our executive committee. And I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. You can stand up, which would be great if you want to, or as well as raise your hand, but at least raise your hand and wave to the crowd because we are on YouTube and channel 2492. Our treasurer is Paul Collier, longtime servant of Westminster Lakeland. We also have with us our interim secretary, Carol Landis. And this is Carol's first resident council meeting serving as our secretary. So when it comes time to make motions and things like that, please give your full name slowly so we get those in the minutes. So thank you, and thank you to Carol for assuming the role for the remainder of this year. We also have with us our immediate past president, Lucia Solomon, who steadied the ship for 2 years before I took over this assignment. We also have with us our committee chairs. Our finance chair is Tom Mook. Our interim nominating chair is Allison Braun. And our dining chair is Linda Demers. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for such wonderful people that are serving us here today. Oh, Jan, yes, I'm sorry. Jan, I looked right past that line because those are not as big as these, and I don't have glasses. I apologize. Our treasurer-elect is Jan LaCree. And she, like me, is small of stature, so I certainly didn't mean to overlook her in the process. But I apologize. I'm going to read from the back, but next time I might bring some glasses. Anyway, but thank you very much. As we start our meeting today, there are agendas for today's meetings. If you did not pick one up, there's some on the back and some on either side if you should need one. One of the things that we have started to do this year in 2016 is something that we call honoring our servant leaders. And the game plan, for those of you that were here in March when we had our very first servant leader that we honored, we surprised her. But guess what? You can only surprise one person, and that's the first one in line. So today is a bit of a surprise because you will discover why this is going to be a little different. Today, looking at honoring our servant leaders, just want to remind us, what do we consider to be a servant leader? And that is really serving others' needs rather than our own needs. It's also, I'm going to have to look at this. I can't read this from here. Focusing on the well-being of others, giving of oneself for the benefit of others, seeking to help the team succeed and working together, and does not seek status or personal power. Now, I would like to say we know lots of those people, but if we look at all those things, we recognize those are very special people, and we are so lucky because we have a lot of those special people in our community. One of our things that we recognized when we were doing the original celebration of our 70th anniversary of our founding was that we looked back a very long way, over 70 years, to talk about a lot of people and the wonderful service they did, and we realized that we had people like that all around us now that have been serving us for many, many years. And so this is an opportunity each time we get together as residents council, and that's all of us together, to recognize people like that. So today's recognition is for Bill and Ethel Deal, and we call them the dynamic duo couple. Now here's the bad news. Bill got a bug, and when he went to urgent care, they told him he could be contagious and he needed to stay home. So, and that all happened over the weekend. So unfortunately, Bill and Ethel are not going to be with us here today. They'll be our next Residents Council meeting. But one of the things that we do after we recognize our servant leaders is then we highlight them in the Lake Hunter Herald. So you can look for an article in June highlighting Bill and Ethel, and these are just a couple of the highlights. When we think about what are the things they have done with us or for us, they include music, dancing, creating, organizing, recording, think of secretary, Ethel, calculating, oh, treasure, having fun. We can think of all kinds of things along with their line dancing, and also inspiring others to do that on our campus. And that's so much what our servant leaders do over time. We're recognizing them both for individual service and team efforts because, again, they truly are a dynamic duo, and a lifetime of service to others. And you'll see that highlighted in the article in the Lake Hunter Herald. I'm going to add one tidbit. For those people that came after they had moved our campus and kind of became known as an item, I'm going to say that, and then it was like, oh, did they meet here? Did they already know each other? Did they whatever? We always wonder. And so it was actually in 2018 that Ethel came, and it was 2019 that Bill came. They both lived in Lakeland, not long distances apart, but had never met until they met on our campus. Now, the question was, where did they actually meet on campus? Who knows the answer? Line dancing. So Ethel was the teacher, and Bill came to the class. So that's actually how they met. And so what we're going to try to find out is, who was it that became smitten with who? Was it someone trying to impress their teacher, or was it someone the teacher was going, wow, this is a nice addition to the class? So we're looking forward to it. They're so much fun, and they're such wonderful people, and we're so sorry that they didn't feel like they could get here today. But we look forward to following up. And again, we celebrate them so much. So let's give them a rousing applause. And now we have that excitement to move on to. It's called business for us to accomplish today. We're going to be entering election of officers of an officer, and with that, we're going to have a report from the nominating committee, and Allison Braun has served, and I gratefully thank her for that, as our interim nominating committee chair for this year, and I'll turn it over to you, Allison.
First of all, I would like to thank the members of the nominating committee who have spent time in this endeavor. And with that being said, Madam President, the nominating committee submits for election the following nomination for the executive committee for the office of President-elect Alice Slack Collins.
For President-elect, Alice Slack Collins is nominated by the nominating committee. Are there any nominations from the floor for the position of President-elect? Having no nominations from the floor, without objection, our nominations are closed. And those in favor of Alice Slack Collins as president, by acclamation, please say yes. Yes. No, if you oppose. Thank you. Alice, you are elected. At this point, we are going to go ahead and do our swearing in of officers. And again, our chaplain, Ed Owens, as usual, is going to be doing our swearing in. We do have 2 officers today that need to be sworn in. Those include Alice as our new president-elect, and also Jan LaCree as treasurer-elect, who you elected in December but wasn't able to be here at the meeting. So she'll be doing the swearing in today.
Yes, please. Actually, I'm going to have you all stand in front of the podium. That way the YouTube will get you, because that's kind of the cutoff right there. Yeah. If you facing the folks you're going to serve. And then you will repeat after me. I will say I, and then you will say your full names, and then we'll go from there. I do solemnly affirm I will faithfully, honestly, and ethically perform my duties in my elected office in accordance with the resident council bylaws of Westminster Lakeland. I hereby proclaim you duly affirmed. Let's welcome them in.
And thank you so much to our chaplain, who has many, many hats to wear and wears all of them beautifully. Our next order of business today is actually approval of the minutes. Our last resident council meeting was held on March the 9th of 2026. The minutes of those meetings were published in the Lake Hunter Herald in the April edition, and they also are posted on the Residence Council tab of the MyW Life. So you can find the minutes in either place, and I know you always are going to be rushing to read them because they're always good reading. Do we have a motion for approval of the minutes? Do we have a second? Any corrections noted? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. No opposed. Okay, thank you. Next order of business is the treasurer's report, and that will be given by Paul Collier.
On the other side of your agenda, you will find the summary of the financial situation for Westminster for the month of April, but just summarizing that. We started off the month with a balance of $25,742.91. We had receipts of $6,001.85. That included contributions to the Activities Fund Drive and also to our Employees Christmas Fund. We had disbursements of $367.29, leaving a balance at the end of the month of April of $31,377.47.
Any questions for Paul on the treasurer's report? Okay, the treasurer's report will be filed as presented, and now a report from the Vol Shop.
The Vol Shop started the month of April with a balance of $24,178.40. They had total receipts of $1,363.11, expenses of $2,330.67 for a final balance in the checking account of $23,210.84. They also have a CD of $42,232.41.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Any other questions? If not, we'll be going to our next item of business, which will be a report from the Finance Committee from Tom Mook, our chair. Oh, I'm sorry.
One more item before me.
Yeah, and that's mine. I wonder how I could forget it. This is when Pat gets to do roving microphone, one of her favorite things to do. So this is an opportunity for us to highlight our different neighborhoods on campus, to highlight our neighborhood representatives who work so hard to help organize events and activities that we have in our neighborhoods, to welcome new residents, and in general, help us get out information across campus. So we're going to start today with Regina, who will tell us what's going on in Lakeside.
Thank you. I'm going to try and do this right, Pat, because I never do it right. My name is Regina Ulbrich, and I live on Lakeside Court, and our neighborhood is the Lakeside Heights, and it includes Lakeside Court, Lakeside Avenue, and Talley Street. We have had quite a few new neighbors. I see the house sitting back there. We've already introduced you previously. I was looking for the Grissards, but I don't see them. I did introduce them the last time. They live on Lakeside Court, had moved into Lakeside Court. And we have another couple, and I invited them today, but I guess they couldn't make it. And they are Larry and Janelle Patrick. And they moved into Lakeside Avenue. So hopefully we'll get to see them the next time. The Grissards, I was going to talk to Betsy, introduce her again, because I had sent out an email previously because we didn't have anything planned. And I asked her if there was anybody that would have an idea of just a small impromptu party. And so she came up with the idea of doing a Kentucky Derby party. And actually, it turned out really well. We had a great little group. It was only 17 people, but it was really kind of nice because it was kind of last minute, but that way it gave everybody there an opportunity to sit and talk and really get to know some of their neighbors that maybe they hadn't spent time with. So that was wonderful. That was May 2nd on Saturday. So hopefully we'll come up with some more things, but right now, that's really all we had planned and kind of happened, and we'll see what happens in the future, right?
Thank you so much, Regina, and I know you do have several new residents there, so that's great to choose from. I have a bit of trivia. When I first moved on campus, I thought that the #1 name on campus would be Patricia, because the generation I come from. It was the #2 female name on campus. The #1 female name on campus, Dorothy, or a variation of Dorothy. And in the Highlands neighborhood, we have new residents that just moved in, Dorothy and Juan Trogolo. So we have another Dorothy to add to our Dorothy list. So we have a number of new residents that have moved in on campus in the last 6 months, let's say, and they have the same name, this is male, as my brother, and it must be a generational thing because we are suddenly having a lot of Larrys. I see at least 1 or 2 of them here. So just kind of interesting as we see new names coming up. I'm looking for Bill Indris, and here he is from A Building.
New residents in our building. We have Biff Daly, who is a retired airline pilot.
Thank you. We had seen Biff's bio come through, and we were all anxious to meet Biff. I haven't met him, but I did see him at our fellowship dinner, which was fabulous. Thank you, Tony, and all your crew. That was fabulous. I'm now moving forward. That was kind of my report from Highlands. Pat McFadden is not able to be with us from the Highlands community today, but we hope our new residents, we're getting one more new resident, so hopefully our next meeting we'll have 2 new neighbors to introduce. So now we're going to go to the B building and Linda Demers.
Good afternoon. We have 2 new families in our neighborhood, Jackie and Rudy and Coco Sullivan. Coco is this lovely little poodle. You will see Jackie very early in the morning walking the dog. They're longtime residents of Lakeland and have moved here within the last 2 months to join us at Westminster Lakeland. The other couple is Ariana and John Glennon, and they also have a little canine family member, but I do not know the little puppy's name, I'm sorry. But they have led a life of service and were missionaries and were all over the world before coming here to settle at Westminster. We're very happy to have them in our building, and I hope you get to meet them soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And now we're going to hear from Allison Braun and find out what's going over on Terrace Gardens in Waverly.
Well, Terrace Gardens Waverly is a happening place. We have new neighbors that just moved in. Larry and Alice Chamberlain come to us from Michigan, Detroit area. He is a retired Presbyterian minister, and she is a retired church organist. So their hobbies right now are unloading boxes. So they'll hopefully join the next time. And we had a wonderful salad and sandwich bar in April, and attended by 33 of our residents, and it was a wonderful time. We called it Let's Have a Picnic. So we had picnic food, and it was wonderful. We are hoping to have our 3rd annual ice cream party in July, and we'll have to wait and see how that pans out.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate our neighborhood reps, and if any of you ever want to volunteer to help in something in your neighborhood, be sure to call upon these representatives. They're always looking for additional people to help out with neighborhood events. And now I will get back to where I should have been on the agenda, which is to introduce Tom Mook, our chair of the Finance Committee.
Thank you. Westminster Lakeland has many activity groups that range from birding and bell ringing to veterans and woodworking, from card playing to gardening and all things in between. These groups are for us, and they are run by us. They are supported by us, we the residents and the users of these groups. That support is in the way of fundraising. That is why we have a fundraising drive. This year's fundraising drive has just been completed. We have a population here in our community of about 300 people, and 136 of them, 136 of us contributed $8,965 towards our goal of $9,600. That means that 45% of us contributed 93% of our requested goal. We anticipate that there will be a few latecomers who will send in their checks and bring the balance up to our goal. One other thing, the activities groups were celebrated this past week with an open house here in the chapel. Perhaps many of you stopped by. It was open to all residents and was well publicized during the several weeks preceding the event. The event was renamed Community Connections to better reflect the purpose and functions. All the groups were represented, and many brochures were handed out to better explain the purposes and goals of the groups. Would there be any questions of what I have just offered? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Any questions for Tom? Thank you. We talk about the fact that we have two activity fund drives, or two fund drives each year. One of them is for activity funding, and the other one is actually our contributions for our Christmas gifting to our employees. But each one of those efforts takes a lot of organization, a lot of coordination. It involves having posters around the campus in various ways, so we get our artists involved. So I just want to thank the Finance Committee and Tom, as well as our artists who contributed to our posters on this very successful fund drive that we're just completing. Our next report today will be from the Dining Services Committee, and that's Linda Demers.
Well, the Dining Services Committee has been very busy, as well as dining services. I don't know if you know all the events that we have here. There are days they not only fix the 3 meals, they fix 600 meals a day regularly, and they also do, in some cases, 2 and 3 events in one day. So they are all working hard. The major staff positions are filled and have been for a while, which is great because we have that continuity of learning and working together. Brad is still trying to find some part-time servers to fill in at the lunchtime, which is always the busiest meal of the day. Now, the Lakeview dining room restoration will be completed this week with the arrival of 5 new 63-inch tabletops. Those are going to be replacing the 2 small tops that have been pushed together to accommodate a larger group. They will be going to a 63-inch table. Those are going to be switched out this week if maintenance has the time to do that. But just so you won't worry about waste, the little tables, the smaller tables, are going to be going up to the sunroom. So some of the hodgepodge of tables and chairs up there are going to be replaced with the small 4 tops and the chairs. Also, one of those are going to the history room to replace the kind of odd one that's there at the moment. And that should be done this week, and we're going to be waiting for the rooms to be done, and then we're going to celebrate our good fortune with the foundation and have a little get-together. Now, as soon as all this is complete, the next challenge is the Walker and Scooter Challenge. Now, we all eat there. We have our walkers and scooters, and the challenge is to find a solution that is sensitive to everyone's needs while still maintaining health and safety standards for the dining room, such as clear pathways and egress in terms of emergency. We have a group. I work with Deanne Fleming on that, and we are also going to be working with Shelley and Lori from staff to help us take a look at that situation and find what we hope are creative solutions to those events. And hopefully we'll be able to accommodate everybody and make everybody happy, which is probably not going to happen. But we're going to try very hard. We sincerely want to provide everybody in their seat safely, but provide pathways for not only our staff, but for residents. So, and then continue with the comment cards. I've been in this position about 9 months, and the comment cards have really decreased. We used to get quite a huge pile, and we still get a fair amount, but they've changed. We now have about 50% are positive comments, and the other 50% are improvement opportunities, which is what I prefer to call them. And these comments, I want you to know, every comment card is read. Every comment card is taken seriously by the staff, and if there's something they can do to improve a particular situation or someone's issue, they will try to do that. I will just say it helps if you put your name on the card, particularly when you have a particular problem or something you would like help with, because we don't know who to contact unless your name is there. And just so you know, everything is confidential on the committee. And it is time, again, for the Pulse survey. Now, this Pulse survey comes out about every few months. It's very short, It's meant to take like a quick snapshot of where we are with our action plans. There's an action plan for the dining services director to follow, and it's a way to quickly check to see how we're doing within that pathway. And if we're not doing as well as we should be in one area, they can make corrections and change some of those issues. So if you get one sent to you, which you all will, please take the time to fill it out. They really appreciate it, they learn from it, and they make changes to the direction of what they're trying to accomplish there. So, thank you very much. Oh, okay.
My question is, will the new tables be the long tables or the round tables?
There are 63-inch round tables.
Oh,
And you know how we put two of the small? That was to accommodate 6 people. Those are going to be replaced with the large ones.
oh, good.
Yeah, the way they originally were. Yes.
Thank you so much, Linda. We appreciate it. As you know, the Dining Services Committee actually has representatives from all of our neighborhoods. And unlike some committees that trying to get people to come sometimes takes encouragement, Linda always has well-attended dining services committees. And so we thank you for those people that are members of that and also for Linda's leadership. Yes, Deanne. Linda, can you repeat the question, please?
Deanne asked if the comment cards on My W Life, I know that they are read by Brad. I do not see them. I don't have access to the ones who come in. However, he would share them. He does share during the meetings what has come in, good, bad, and different comments to us. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Like I said, whether they're online or they're on the paper, every card is read and taken seriously.
And all of the comments that come in, also the verbal ones, they all make their way to the Dining Services Director, and that's shared with the staff and chef. Doug is aware of all of those as our executive director, and Linda and the dining committee also has access to the information. So the goal is not any secrets, the goal is to improve. And so I think that in general, all of those things are making their way. And I would be surprised if the comments that come in online are very different than the variety that probably we also have had for a long time in writing. Anything else on dining? Again, thank you so much. Appreciate that. What's the number one topic when we did our Hollerin survey? Dining. So it's great that both Westminster administration and our residents council have both really elevated that to be more high profile in our work as residents and also in the administration staff work on campus. We really see that. Now we have something we're going to undertake today a little bit differently. From time to time, the Residents Council has had a need to revise or update bylaws. And I know most of you have said, wow, I can't wait till we talk about bylaws. Or not. But they are very important to our operation as a resident council and to the business at hand and how we do our business. And so from time to time, we appoint a committee. We call it an ad hoc committee. It's in existence for the period of time that we need it to serve. And we have had an ad hoc committee that has been working diligently for the last few months on looking at our bylaws and looking at some changes that we want to talk to you about today. Paul Collier is on the committee and has kind of assumed the position of chair of that committee. We also have Linda Demers, who has served, she and Paula served on other ad hoc or not ad hoc bylaws committees that seem to go on for very long periods of time. And also Alice Collins served on this committee as well. So the three of them, which was really kind of fresh eyes on it, so it was a great opportunity to bring the three of them together. And they've done, I think, an excellent job. And Paul's going to come and present to you what will be coming forward to you in September for consideration by the full Residence Council. Paul.
Well, that's my presentation. Thank you. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation oversees all of the continuing care retirement communities, of which Westminster Lakeland is one of them. And one of their mandates is that all residence council, there must be a residence council in each one of these. The purpose of which is to provide opportunities for residents to take part in the quality in the community and the activities of the community, and to provide an avenue for us to express our concerns, issues relative to our care. They also mandate that we have a bylaws committee, bylaws, and our committee has changed these recently for a number of reasons. The current bylaws were started in 2006, and as was mentioned, they have been amended 11 different times. And so there's been a lot of repetition, a lot of extra verbiage. There has been a transition from Florida Presbyterian Homes to Westminster Lakeland, and that has necessitated some changes in our assignments and how we do things. And there's simply a need to simplify the structure of this document. And so, as was mentioned, the three of us, Alice Collins, Linda Mears, and myself have joined together to set up a new bylaws for us. What we have done is basically reorganized the bylaws. We started off this time with a short paragraph or two telling about the legal basis for our bylaws and what their purpose is. The rationale for that simply is new residents especially don't know what we're all about, why we exist, and this is a good introduction to that. We tried to eliminate duplication, and there was a lot of it, simplifying wording, and as a result, we were able to reduce the number of pages from 14 down to 8 of them. We tried to clarify the duties of both the committees and the officers, again, bringing them up to date with who we are now as Westminster Lakeland. And all of this will hopefully make it easier for you, for the committees, for the officers to understand and to perform their functions efficiently. We also made a major decision relative to one of our offices, namely the immediate past president. Back before we were Westminster Lakeland, one of the major duties of the immediate past president was to be a member of the board of directors of the Florida Presbyterian Homes. With the changeover, that is no longer necessary. And indeed, Westminster Communities requires that the president be the one that interacts with the administration in Orlando and meets with the presidents of the other residence councils throughout the Westminster communities. The other duties of the immediate past president have included being the parliamentarian, determining whether there's a quorum at these meetings, and meeting with the ALF and the Port of McGrath residents when they have their council meetings. The sense was that these latter three duties could easily be given to other members of the executive committee without any diminution of their effectiveness. There's always been a challenge in finding individuals who were willing to serve for 6 years, because you start off as the president-elect for 2 years, then the president for another 2 years, and then the immediate past president. We've been fortunate over the years that we've been able to do that, but it is becoming increasingly difficult. And so that was one of the other reasons why, as we on the ad hoc committee reviewed it, we decided that that would be something that we would recommend to you for your consideration when you vote. I did it again. Today's presentation is to give you a heads up that this is coming down the pike. We have been looking at this for the last 3 months, and we will continue to do so. There's some few issues that need to be resolved. We're hoping that can be done very shortly. And then what we will do is we will publish the entire new bylaw proposal in the August edition of the Lake Hunter Herald. You will be able to find the current bylaws in the My W Life under the resident life section, so you can make comparisons, see where they differ, where they're the same, and then if you have any questions or concerns, you could please come to us and provide us with your input. And then the final step will be at the next Residents' Council meeting on September. We will vote on them. Any questions at this point in time? I know you haven't had a chance to look them over, but any questions about the process or issues that you feel we need to look at? There be none.
Thank you so much, Paul and Linda and Alice. We appreciate you, all your hard work that got us here. And I, for one, can tell you, having read, and I wasn't exaggerating, probably the existing bylaws about 20 times, which was about 18 times more than I might have just thought about doing. It will be wonderful to have them simplified, well organized, and much easier, I think, for everyone to easily understand, and certainly it will be an easier document for your executive committee to use as they do work on your behalf. So thank you again. The next item that we have on our agenda is an update of a wonderful activity that we had in April, and Chris Woolwine is going to come and tell us about the Community Connections, about her committee that worked together on that, and about the event itself.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that a lot of you were able to attend the Community Connections event. It was on April the 30th here in the chapel from 1 to 3, and we had a pretty good attendance. It was put together by the Committee of 4, Linda Demers, Tom Mook, Etta Owens is our advisor from the staff, and me. So we were very pleased with the people who turned out as far as representing their groups. We had 11 out of the 14 resident council-led groups, and 2 of them are currently inactive, and that is the Academy and the Knitters group. So we were only short 1, and that's because Debbie Greiner has been in Japan on vacation. So we were very pleased with that. And then we had, for the resident-led groups, we had 17 out of 21. So again, we were very pleased with the turnout. Then for the table setup, in addition to the different groups, Lifestyles had their table, and that was manned by Patricia, since Jada's currently on maternity leave. And then we had the wellness table, and that included Martha Pope, who was representing chair volleyball, Bob Slavovsky, who represented bocce ball. So we had, again, we had a good turnout there. For the event itself, for the handouts, we designed 4 brochures. One was for the resident council groups, another for resident-led groups, the lifestyles, and wellness. Ball Shop and Bid House had their own brochures, which they still had a supply of, so we used those. And thanks to Linda's creativity, this year the groups were easier to find. They were color-coded, so each different group had their own color, and the brochures tied in with those colors. So did the tablecloths, the table decorations, and balloons. And we were very, very grateful the day of the event that there wasn't a lot of wind, because Tom went to pick up the balloons, and if we'd had very much wind, he wouldn't have made it back to us. So thank you, Tom. We had approximately, I'd say, 80+ attendees, and so we were pleased with that. As far as the promotion of the event, in advance, we sent out, about 5 weeks, we started sending out emails to the entire community. We also, thanks to Patricia, she included the event in the Daily Scoop, My W Life, and she also sent out a community-wide email separate from the others. And we also designed some flyers, so that was pleased. Some of the feedback from the participants included that they felt the brochures were a big help, that they could hand them out with the contact person as far as their future information. Few of the groups did have several sign-ups, and it seemed to be a lot of the card-playing groups that had the most sign-ups, although Dolores had a good turnout for people who were interested in sewing and knitting, and we'd like to see the knitting group get active again. And several people commented they appreciated the opportunity to present their activity. We want to be sure, if you see anybody from the maintenance department, be sure to tell them thank you, because without their help, we wouldn't have done the event. They were here at 8:30 in the morning, they had the chairs moved, they had the tables set up, and promptly at 3 o'clock, they were in here to tear everything down because it was a memorial service Friday morning. So they did an awesome job. And we want to thank the Residents Council for funding the balloons and all the refreshments that we had. So all in all, we were very pleased with the event, and we look forward to another one down the road. If anybody's got any feedback of any kind, if you would see Linda, Tom, or me afterwards, we would appreciate any input that you have, because this Thursday we are having kind of a recap meeting. So if you have any questions or comments or feedback, let us know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and let's give a hand to the committee and everyone that participated. That was some significant work that went on, and I think one of the things that we use a term around here a lot that says residents serving residents, and that's really what all of these activities are about. These are about the things that we as residents do for all of us as we give our time, service, and have fun together. So if you haven't participated in any of the activities yet on campus, or you've only participated in one thing for the last 8 years, try something different. Add something to your list. Try a new activity, because it always is wonderful. Anytime we have to learn something new and some new people and have to remember their names, that's really good for our brains. And so it's something we should do, and we can have fun. We're going to move on now to our announcements as part of our agenda. I have a couple of things I just want to point out that are coming up. One, Chat with Doug this week will be Thursday here in the chapel, but it's going to be at a different time. It's going to be at 1:30. So that starts a little later than it usually does. So 1:30 here in the chapel on May the 14th. The other thing that I wanted to mention, was that there is going to be a voter assistance on campus, and it is the Polk County Elections Office will be here, and they will be discussing how to register to vote, updating your voter information, and completing a vote-by-mail request form, and answer other questions you might have about voting. So I really think this is a good opportunity. There's sometimes lots of confusion, and there have been some changes in the laws that do affect voting. So that activity is, or that presentation, and I'm going to say kind of like technical support, as I would think of it, is going to be coming on Friday, May the 22nd, from 10 to noon here, not here, in the Foyer Bunker Lobby location. So they'll have it set up in there, and it's one of those that you can drop by and talk with them, I believe, on specifics. Another thing that I want to bring up is we have a lot of veterans activities that are going on, and in particular, I want to make sure that each of you mark your calendar for June the 2nd at 2 p.m. in the afternoon here in the chapel. There'll be a showing of a documentary that's called From Shore to Shore, a Living Legacies Project, and it's featuring the stories of 4 residents of other Westminster communities who will be presenting some unique stories that are related to World War II. As those of you know, we are also going to be setting up our curio cabinet. We've had a number of contributions. We still have room for a couple more in the lobby of the Foyer Bunker, where we can display photos or memorabilia that are related to World War II that's special to you. Most of us, we weren't there, but many of us have families or legacies that go back to World War II, and we may still have something that we would like there. You don't have to explain what it is. It's just something that means something to you that is connected to that. I also have an event announcement, which I think is very, I'm excited about it. I just heard about it myself. This is the brochure, and there are a few of these that are laying up here on the organ and over on the table at that side. And please just take one if you think you might be interested. But here's what it is. There's going to be a rehab open house that's going to feature a guided tour, that is, of the health center, Porter McGrath Health Center, the rehab unit. That's the first floor there. And they're going to have an open house with a guided tour. They're also going to be having a garden picnic and food trucks available, and that is complimentary. This will also be going on May the 22nd from 11:30 to 1:30, so it's lunch hour. It says, join us for a warm and welcoming open house experience. Enjoy an opportunity to explore all our rehab program provides, followed by a relaxing garden picnic with complimentary delicious offerings from favorite local food trucks. What you'll experience is the guided tour, a meet and greet with the rehab staff, conversations with the director of nursing, a warm welcome from our chaplain, and complimentary lunch. The thing that you have to do to participate is you have to RSVP. There'll be more information on this, and other ways of communication, but the phone number that you need to RSVP to is on the brochure. You'll see it over here. So let me ask this. How many of you have either had you or a family member that have been in the rehab unit here at Westminster Lakeland? So I'm going to say that's half the people probably in the room. So we'll assume that the other half have not. If you want to know how it works, what they have, both available in the unit or as outpatient physical therapy that's also available to our residents, it's a good opportunity to meet them and find out what things that are offered on campus or to ask questions. So, and also, hey, a garden picnic with food trucks could sound pretty tempting. So anyway, these brochures are out there. Do we have any other announcements that we need to make today? Yes, Tony, just a second, I'll bring you this.
I've noticed a distinct increase in the request for people to be involved here. And I think that that's a good move. And I want to encourage more of that volunteer work that's being done. And the volunteers are spending a lot of time that we don't, as normal residents, realize. And I think that they deserve a round of applause for that.
So, round of applause for our volunteers. Do we have other announcements or questions? Just a second, Janet.
Do we have any residential representation at the big board of directors in Winter Park? And if so, who are they, and how do they communicate with us about our concerns?
Okay, you ask a simple question, and the answer is big and complex and requires a diagram, and that's not, I'm not being facetious about that. The board of directors is a large board of directors that also has a number of smaller boards that operate under it. That board does meet, and you do have representation on that board, not as a voting member, but as you know, not even an ex officio, but well, that would be me currently as your president. Okay, Doug as the executive director is always there, but those meetings are very business-oriented types of things, not general discussion types of meetings. The meetings that are most meaningful of where we communicate what's going on our campuses, meaning there's actually 23 total properties within Westminster Communities of Florida. 10 of them are like us, life care communities. And we meet once a month. We have a Zoom meeting usually. There are occasionally in person, and Linda just attended an in-person one representing us. And they discuss with the staff and the people that really like run the organization, meaning the CEO, the financial services people, the people that oversee the staff, that oversee the activities, that oversee all the things that affect us, all the nursing, all of those things. They have a meeting once a month to communicate with the presidents of each one of the community resident councils. Yes, and the things that we bring to you, like the budget, and many of these things come to you in chats with Doug, and they're coming to us in terms of the business of what's going on. But in terms of what our concerns are, our concerns go up through management as general concerns, and those get talked about at those meetings. You know, and sometimes there's some in-depth discussion on a particular topic that affects each campus differently. All 10 of us are different, no big surprise. But a lot of the things are in common, and that's the part that we most effectively work together on, the things that affect all our communities or most of our communities. But that's how that structure works. I would love to say there's a great organizational chart that would make this simple. When we first started asking for that, and although it is not like, here's this, this. It's a much more robust. I want to almost call it three-dimensional, if you can kind of put yourself into this is almost like a solar system, as opposed to just, here's the top, here's this. That's the best way to know how to explain. Linda, do you want to add anything to that, or Lucia?
I was asked to attend the meeting in Pat's place, and all I'm going to say is we have Jim Pulaski coming to give an overlook, if you can say, to the resident council, and we'll be able to answer that question much better after that, because he did indeed have all the diagrams. And I just looked at it and I thought, whoa, it's very complicated. And so if you give us time to meet with him, I think we'll be able to have a little more information to give to you about how all of that works.
There will be no diagram that will be simpler than what she just said, just so you know. I'm not going to promise you something that I'm pretty sure is not going to come to you in that way. Yes, June, just a second. June is a resident from one of our other campuses who has moved here, and she may give her opinion on this.
I was wondering if Jim Polanski is going, if it's open to the residents, if we could be at that. No, it's not. Okay. No, it's not.
No, I understand. Yeah. Yes, Pam.
So I wonder if you could speak to the small boards that you mentioned and how those are made up, who they are, how they're elected or appointed.
The decision on who's on those boards do not have anything to do with any of us. No, I know. Yeah. Okay, this is like, just in essence, like the board that was over Florida Presbyterian Homes through the years, a nonprofit board that was not made of people that were here. Our members were ex officio to that group that represented the Residents' Council. For a nonprofit, and many of you have served on nonprofit boards, you are generally asked based upon your experience, your expertise, and your knowledge in a particular area. In this one, it would be continuing community care, to serve on a board, and you have no financial interest in it. You don't have any, in other words, you're not there to take care of grandma. You're not there to introduce your business interest. You're not there to have any of those roles. And as a member of a nonprofit board, you have to sign off. It is a legal thing. There's all kinds of federal and state requirements as you're serving on those boards. So there is no insider information, or people are bringing their best interest based upon their experience. The people that I have met, and Lucia has met a number of them, that are on the board, these are people that, you know, are, we have some retired ministers on the board. We have bankers on the board. We have lawyers on the board. We have social workers on the board. We have nurses. We have people that were or are currently, you know, in education, universities. We have high-level people that serve on the board as the group. We also have a local. There are smaller groups of boards, and I'm just to explain that. It doesn't make sense, but we have our own board, and on that board, one of the people that we have that serves is Scott Langston, who served on our board also as Florida Presbyterian Homes. There is also another person who I cannot think of the name, that is local.
He was one of the past board, he was the past board president.
Yes, our past board president of Florida Presbyterian Homes serves on that board. So there are still 3 people that are involved, that were involved in our overall board, that's involved in the board that oversees Westminster Lakeland in that structure. And they report up to a group that is made up of 3 communities, and then the overall 10 communities have a board above that. And to say that there is some redundancy in that, there is. But they all have it from each of their perspectives as they look at decision-making for the overall organization, that both, if you can think of that, filters down and also gets communication back up. I wish I had a simpler thing to explain to you, but I've got to say that's my best understanding. Would you kind of agree with that, Lucia and Linda?
Masterful.
It's a very complicated setup, as you said. It's a lot more
complicated than I can deal with. I don't have your business background, but I did find in my 2 years of serving, with this particular board, that they are very receptive to what you think, what you have to say, particularly these in-person meetings where we go and we sit with them for a whole day. So you get many opportunities to talk with them individually, but they're very accessible to us. And I don't want anybody to get the feeling that they're sitting way up here and not hearing us, because they're not. They do hear us, and they make best decisions, I think, based on the good of the group, but they hear us. Thank you.
Yeah, I just also want to say, and I think I mentioned this to some of you when we were doing our budgeting, and when the first budgeting presentation I heard from Westminster Communities, and I have a background that's involved in that kind of thing, and I've heard it at lots of levels: national things, state things, government, cities, all kinds of different organizations or institutions or things. It was as good a presentation as I've ever received of how thorough they are in looking at their forecasting mechanisms and the data they actually look at, in the reasonability of what their assumptions are. It is as thorough a presentation of that as I had ever encountered in my 45 years being involved with it. So I was incredibly impressed by that. Now, by doing that, that simply says I haven't found anybody flying by the seat of their pants. I'm just going to say that really nicely, because they are so professional and they really do have an incredibly thorough staff. So I feel like it reflects on the board of directors that's very professional, that they report to. So the staff is very impressive in their knowledge levels and the information that they present. And that's kind of just an impression of what I've gleaned. Yes, John?
I would like to extend a personal congratulations to Tony for his major improvements to our fellowship dinner. We don't meet up in this stupid chapel anymore to go downstairs. We did the wine separately. Tony, to you.
Can I also say I did not get over to the event, but as I was leaving, there were some hors d'oeuvres that were left on the table that I took home, and they were fabulous, which is terrific. Linda.
This event was this past Wednesday and Thursday, and one of my top items that I noted is that they are extremely conscious of their fiduciary responsibility when they were discussing team members and benefits and how they discuss that and how they give raises. Everywhere along the line, they also will say, we realize every time there's raises, there's benefits, it is a cost to the residents. And every change that they make, any decision, that's part of their decision-making, is that it is, well, in fact, is it a cost to the residents? So I was quite impressed with that. Every step along the way, that's considered in their decision-making.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you for attending that. We really appreciate it. I just want to say one other thing about our team, our staff here at Westminster Lakeland. We have some really hardworking people. I mean, go out right now. I was looking at some of the guys that were out working. We have just had 3 weeks experience over in the rehab center, and I'm amazed at how hard and how steadily people work. And I'm a night owl, and I can tell you almost all night long they are working. They're not sitting around. They are just continually working. And I do want to say we have one improvement on behalf of the staff that has happened that most of you would not have seen. Porter McGrath Lobby, there is a team lounge, a staff lounge that is right off of there. That's also where they do their clocking in and clocking out. It's where they have their lunch. It's where, it's a small lounge area. It was very bleak Let me say that. And I am happy to say that that renovation, I believe, probably is now complete. I haven't looked in yet, but it's been underway for the last couple of months of rehabbing the staff lounge, the team lounge for them. And I was really happy to see that we were, as we've been sprucing up all kinds of areas on campus, that we have done something the staff can take benefit in too. So give a cheer to Doug on Thursday and tell him that we, the residents, appreciate that. I really think that's important. Any other comments? I thank you so much today for coming and participating in your Residence Council, and we look forward to having you back on September the 14th, 3 o'clock here in the chapel for our next quarterly meeting of the Residence Council. We're adjourned. Do you like 3D solar systems? That's about. Yes, sometimes these are not. They're like that. Congratulations. Oh, thank you. So how's Bob doing? He's okay. He calls Steve. There's nothing major wrong with either one of us. Well, let's celebrate that. Really. Yes. Really, very good. Well, we appreciate all you continue to do. Oh, and I'm so glad to see the outlook of this course. Janet and I, a couple of others, see develop and develop. And even if that one, I mean, that's tackling them. Yeah. I think we're just going to be a whole lot of getting rid of 6 pages, that's impressive. Well, and also we had gotten down to item 2.1, 2.2. We were on 2.13, sections. Like, no. Time to rewrite. Yeah. Yeah, that was what was funny. We didn't get, because that's what you start saying, oh, this would be good if we organize it like that. Well, yeah, but then as you get to it, it starts to, like I said,